So Ryan Garcia, in the midst of all this chaos and this hectic behavior, this chaotic behavior where we don't know what's going on with Ryan Garcia, he wants to fight Jake Paul. Ultimately, that's a big money fight. You guys like to talk about how Ryan Garcia is an influencer. You know, he's a YouTuber, he's a TikToker, he's not a real boxer, he's just a pretty boy who kind of knows how to fight, but not really, can't beat the elites, he's a scrub. All right, let's put him against a guy that you guys have the same, notion of. You guys have the same, representation. You guys have the same idea of Jake Paul. So why not put these two fighters together? Then what are we gonna say? It's a mockery to boxing. You know, what else is new? Boxing has been embarrassing itself by not making the big fights happen. So why not have an entertaining match between Ryan Garcia and a guy like Jake Paul? Because we know that Ryan's been going through a lot inside the ring, outside of the ring, specifically outside of the ring, because we're hearing all these social media posts, these rumors about him potentially pulling out because of, whatever the case may be with his mental health. I wish Ryan Garcia all the best, as we all should. And I think that if he has to pull out of the Devin Haney fight, by all means, pull out of the fight if it does take that to, protect your mental health. But if you're able to go through with that fight, make it happen. But against Jake Paul, Ryan Garcia said he's sick of Jake Paul. He sent him, many messages on Twitter, on social media, saying that, Jake Paul would get the smoke with me. He doesn't want to fight me. If he fights Jake Paul, he's ending him. He's saying stuff like that. So these are fighting words we've seen in the past that Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia, they're friends. And now you see guys like Ryan Garcia going at Logan Paul and KSI in terms of their prime, the hydration drink that they have that is very popular amongst kids, especially my age and younger. People love that stuff, but Ryan Garcia says it's worshiping Satan. This is why Ryan Garcia doesn't like, Logan Paul or KSI, wants to fight Jake Paul. And I think Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia sells a lot of pay-per-view buys. I think a lot of people would watch that fight. I think, obviously Ryan Garcia would probably win, even though you have to also remember that Jake Paul's a big dude, heavy, close to 200 pounds, walk around, weight 205. He's not a small guy by any means. He's significantly bigger than Ryan Garcia. I just think the technique, even though I don't think Ryan Garcia is the technician that a guy like Vasily Lomachenko is. I don't think he's the best jabber in the world like Devin Haney. He doesn't have the distance management of a Shakur Stevenson, but he does yet have the basic fundamentals of boxing. Maybe you guys are going to come and say, he doesn't keep his hands up. Yeah, but he still has enough to beat Jake Paul. Let's be real. Jake Paul, if taking a fight against Ryan Garcia, you're taking a fight against Mike Tyson, for crying out loud. I think that you'd be down to fight Ryan if it came to it. Ultimately, a guy that's smaller than you are. And, let's be real. Jake's been fighting smaller guys. When he didn't fight a smaller guy in Tommy Fury, he lost. So, an unranked cruiserweight, to fight a guy like Tommy Fury and to lose, that just shows, any decent guy around Jake's weight or his walk around weight, whatever weight Jake wants to fight at, will probably beat him, a legitimate boxer. But, I understand that Jake's just in it to make money. I would do the same thing. If you're a YouTuber, you go from making a lot of money making videos, and then you could go to millions of dollars. You're making double what you made on YouTube to enter a training camp. Let's be real. You get to lock in, experience what it's like to be an athlete, a professional athlete, and you're getting all the eyeballs, and it's cool. It's cool to be a fighter. It's cool to be a boxer. It looks good. It sounds good. And you feel good about it. You're getting in shape. You're getting paid millions of dollars to be in tip-top condition. And I think Jake Paul's really enjoying that aspect of it. And people within the combat sports world, maybe not the boxing world just yet, are giving him his respect because he's beating guys that are very popular within the world of MMA and the UFC world. Guys like Nate Diaz, he knocked out Tyron Woodley, put him to sleep. Probably one of the most impressive knockouts I've seen in the past 5 years. Finding a home for that right hand. You could say stuff like MMA fighters are different. They're not as good as boxers. And I would agree with you. But ultimately, for a guy to be where Jake Paul was, to come from a place where Jake Paul came from, which is YouTube, Disney Channel, going from these TV shows, these kid shows, to knocking guys out who are UFC, trained MMA professionals. I think, that's something he can take to the bank. That's something that he's been able to make more fights off of. He's been able to make a lot of money off of, washed up UFC fighters. Anderson Silva, I didn't know what to expect in that fight. I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but he ultimately dropped Anderson Silva. That's not an easy thing to do. And you guys are going to say these fights are rigged. Come on, people are betting millions of dollars on these fights. If word got out that one of these fighters were rigging a fight, how much trouble multiple people would get into. That's literally criminal. It's like you're going to jail. It's not something you can just say, oh, it's rigged, it's this and that. It's not rigged. Okay, although boxing does definitely have its corrupt moments, there's no active, rigging in the sport of boxing. I can tell you that, especially from the fighter standpoint. They're going in there and it's a real fight. Exhibitions, I don't know about exhibitions. That's out of my hands. But I know the sport of boxing when it comes to, the actual commission, what it takes to, make a fight happen. Like, I know about that stuff. So I know for a fact that, when people are posting DraftKings promos, the MyBookie promos, we know that people are putting money on the line for these fights. So there's no cheating that. There's no rigging those kinds of fights. So, going back to Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia, I think it's a spectacle at the end of the day. These guys don't like each other anymore. They used to be friends. Ryan Garcia wants to take down Prime, Logan Paul, and KSI's energy company. So, why not make the fight happen? I think it's an interesting fight, assuming Ryan Garcia, has success. Win, lose, or draw against Devin Haney, and I think we all can agree that he's probably going to lose to Devin because there's just too much going on. It's a difficult enough task to face Devin Haney on, a proper notice and without any other distractions coming outside the ring. Ryan Garcia already has the cards stacked against him in this matchup in particular. Devin's an assassin. Devin's pinpoint accurate. You guys can say all you want about him being pillow hands. He can't crack. Against Regis Prograis, to debut at 140, to beat Regis the way he did in a potential shutout, you could argue Regis won the first round. That's being generous to Regis, but ultimately Devin looked clean in that fight. Devin looks good. He does what he has to do, gets the job done, and then he moves on to the next one. His discipline is what makes him so special. And I think for Ryan Garcia, if he's not going to fully commit to these kinds of fights where Devin is as elite as it gets, I think there's a sense of, Ryan Garcia doesn't give Devin enough respect because he's seen him in the amateurs. So he has to remember that it's different now. They're in the pros, and, Devin's coming, guns blazing. He's going to go at Ryan Garcia. When I say go at, he's going to whoop him. And I think Ryan Garcia has to be very strategic in that fight, especially if he doesn't want to look foolish, if he doesn't want to look like a clown. Because at this point, whether he's promoting the fight or not, do what you have to do. If you're promoting the fight, I respect it. But if you actually need help and you need to pull out of the fight, I want to see the fight, but, do what you got to do. But I think Ryan Garcia just needs to focus on the task at hand. And if he's not going to focus, go fight Jake Paul after this. If you're going to lose, you're just here for a payday. Make another payday against a guy like Jake because you're going to make millions of dollars. Ultimately, you guys can promote the hell out of that fight. And I think it's a good fight, for fans. I think it's a good fight for the sport of boxing because people, just want to see a spectacle at the end of the day. If you don't have anything to watch, if there's no Terrence Crawford versus Spence Part 2, if there's no Usyk versus Fury, if there's no Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, go watch Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. Like, it's something to watch. Like, it's two big names, so, why not watch it? But ultimately, I hope Ryan Garcia gets in the right headspace where he can compete with Devin Haney, have a clean training camp, lower these distractions, and focus on your craft because you have a tall task ahead of you come April 20th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. What do you guys think about, potential matchup between Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia in the future? Do you guys entertain it? I like the fight from a business standpoint. Ultimately, from a boxing standpoint, maybe it gets a little ugly, but hey, you got a smaller guy who's a real professional. You have a guy that wants to be a professional and he's a bigger guy. I say why not make it happen? But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's been your boy Matt with Nats Fight Media, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another Nats Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Matt Nabong with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.